Hello, entrepreneurs and self-starters. This is Rick Phillips from Yeti, and you're listening to the Startup Sandwich Podcast, the show that unpacks the bread-winning basics, juicy-filled journey, and secret sauce of entrepreneurship. Let's go. Hello, entrepreneurs. How are you doing today? In today's episode, we learned how Eitan Rachlis is redefining talent scouting and helping business solving their recruitment challenges. We're going to learn a bit about what he's doing. But before that, I just want to say, Eitan, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here, Rick. I appreciate that. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. I just came back from England,
Nice.
and I'm feeling refreshed. I wore a shirt from England. I wore socks from England.
Wow, nice.
I'm just living the moment here. I'm just feeling that, wow, you know what? If I thought about entrepreneurship, I think that we have to weave in travel, work-related travel, and see the world as well as do business. What do you think about that idea?
Yes, I agree with you 100%. In order to become a better version of yourself, you need to make sure you met several cultures and understand how you can tailor yourself in order to basically propose something that will be good for them and they will be interested in having this conversation with you and doing some business with you.
Right. I think that's true. It's almost like the more cultures we know, whether it's actually traveling to a country or whether we're meeting them in our home country, then the more we redefine ourselves. I certainly feel this myself. That the more I travel, the more I learn about what it means to be Canadian. But also to your point is that we can get better at doing business with other people, right?
Correct. So, for example, if I have an employer within the US, which will say, it's pretty much North America, same culture. No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I went and visited one in Indiana and the other one in New Jersey. Totally different type of people.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
different environment. So I always try to go and meet face-to-face with my employers only because of that. I want to understand where they are coming from and what they are looking for.
Yeah, right. And this empathy is very important in the world of entrepreneurship or the world of business in general, right? It's not just about, hey, let me pitch something or let me tell you or let me sell you something. It's like, how can I have empathy? How can I listen with my eyes and my ears and try to pick up on the nuances of whoever I'm talking to, right?
That's right. So I think always in sales, they ask you, don't try to sell. Try to understand what is the problem.
Right.
The root cause. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I always try to see and understand. And you cannot understand the root cause of the problem if you don't know the culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what helps you in understanding that.
And for recruiting, I'm sure that's very important, right?
Yeah, because it's, between people and you need to understand their mindset.
Right.
How they think, what they might answer you, and how you should prepare to their answer with your answer or question.
Right, right. Before we get deeper into recruiting, let's let the audience learn a bit about you. Now, I've known you for many years, but let's let the audience know a little bit more about you. Tell us a little bit about your story. Who is Eitan, and how did you become an entrepreneur?
Okay, interesting story. So I think in school we had young entrepreneurs, like I would say group. And one day they asked who want to go there, and I asked, what's an entrepreneur? I didn't even know what it is. And then the teacher that actually gathered and created this group told me, an entrepreneur, it's something that is looking for a change, something that will be different. And I'm like, let's try. Yeah, something it's different. Definitely, I'm not going to sit in class. It will do something different. Let's go. And then I met a few entrepreneurs. They discussed and explained that it's like out of the box thinking and what it entails within that. So if I do fast forward to my journey here in Canada, I can tell you that pretty much from day one, I understand that that's my soul. I want to do a change. I'm always thinking out of the box and how I can adjust something that will be useful, not only for me, but for other people. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, in order to be a good entrepreneur, again, you have to adapt the culture and you have to understand what are the needs, the current needs, and always foresee what will happen in the future.
This is interesting. And as you were speaking, I was thinking to myself, many years ago when I was studying some business and looking at entrepreneurship, there was kind of these quizzes you could do, like, are you an entrepreneur? Take the quiz, these kind of exercises, right? And it leads to the question of, are entrepreneurs born or made, et cetera, et cetera. what I really like about what you said was that even as a young person, you had this drive to kind of accept something different. Like, here's an opportunity to do something different. Okay, let's do it. Whereas other people are afraid of different, right? They're afraid of change. They're like, no, change could be a threat. Change could be bad. Let's not change things. Whereas other people, and I would dare say entrepreneurs, are like, wow, change is an opportunity. Let's see where this goes.
Okay,
right?
so I'll tell you a bit about what happened with me. I always used to think there is black and white. Okay, there is nothing in between. That was, I used to be young. That's the way I used to think. And if we'll basically equivalent that to the entrepreneurship, it will be either you are a businessman or you are an employee.
Right.
So an employee, it's a person that uses a template every day, go to work 9 to 5, get a salary at the end of the month, twice a month, doesn't matter. And a businessman is a person who is doing business, getting constantly money, making great, amazing. I learned here in Canada that you can be a combination of both. So while working my 9 to 5 job as a recruiter in an agency, I launched a new business, a production business. I did it as a side gig. My community back then had a lack of Hebrew-speaking events. If they used to have those events here in Toronto area, I would say, I'm not talking for now about all Canada, but it was a all Canadian issue for the Hebrew-speaking community here in Canada. We used to overpay. So I decided, okay, I'll try to do something. Let's bring a comedian. And then I saw the reaction. So I kept on doing my 9 to 5. And after business hours and during the weekends, I had a lot of dealing with, my other business. 9 years later, 10 years later, some things happened. We'll discuss about that. And that changed my mindset that I want to go to more to gearing towards having my own business and not doing both of them. Because at the end of the day, if you do both of them, you cannot do both of them 100%.
Right. Especially if you have a family and life is just getting more complicated as we get older to have. Exactly. So for an entrepreneur to start working weekends and evenings is normal. But to be pulled between two jobs, as you said, at some point, you've got to make that decision. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs out there listening can relate to that it's okay to start a business, at least this is my opinion, it's okay to start a business while you're working full time or doing something. It's fine to dip your toes in the ocean, right? But at some point, you're going to have to make a decision. Which one is it, right?
That's right.
And for you, when did you take that production company to the next level?
I ran the company, the production company. It was great, smooth. I did both, work 9 to 5, had my business, enjoyed that. And then COVID hit. When COVID hit, the biggest problem was that there are no more events. Canada was shut down for 2 years.
Yeah.
You are having some obligations, family, mortgage, and you need to make for living. I understood that day that something need to change here. Either I'm, as you mentioned, taking this business to the next level, or I'm going to focus on the corporate world and going to give it 100%, and that will be my path to success. COVID hit, the MBA program that I really was looking for began. So Yedi, they had back then a great MBA program. If you are an entrepreneur or you have your own business already that is running, which was my case, you can utilize the MBA program on your business. That helped me a lot because I literally did a business plan for my business and for my, I would say, development plan, as well as the financial plans, so on and so forth. However, while working on this, I would say MBA on my production company, I realized that as a recruiter, I never stopped working, even during COVID. The opposite. I worked more and more hours. I had one employer that I used to work with them in the past approached me, I need some help. Can you help me? I could not charge them because I worked for someone. So I said, you know what, let's do one off. Pro bono, no problem. And then another employer approached me, help me here, help me there. another one. I had like 3 or 4 of those. And then, this is like the bulb moment that I had. And maybe I should open a recruitment agency.
Maybe something's calling to you.
Yeah, exactly. So as a recruiter again, I think maybe during COVID, I got more than 200 messages from recruiters approaching me, offering me recruitment roles with other companies.
Right.
So I understand that I have the very good, I would say, base for that. And I decided to take the next step and open my own company and utilize everything that I learned during the MBA. Because during my MBA, it's a secret, I did a second MBA at home, sitting there and doing the financial plans, the business plans, the organizational structure, everything. I literally have everything copied. So I did 2 MBAs.
Right. So if I understand you correctly, so you say, okay, Yeti's got this great education. You're going to do that working with your production company. And as you said, there's an incubator program before, I think, then the MBA later on. And you said to yourself, and this is sort of interesting, by the way, because who does this? But you said to yourself, I'm going to do all the homework and milestones for the production company.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to do a second copy at home for this potential recruiting business. So you literally doubled your work.
Yes. And it was hours of work. All those, I'd say, tutors. They really helped me. They guide me for one business. And actually, they didn't know that, but I was not 100% sure about myself. I didn't want to disclose something that I'm not sure about that, but they actually guided me for the second business. It was a great program. I'm very happy that I did that. The basics of my business today, it's thanks to this MBA program.
It's thanks to you, because you put that double effort in, and that's something we cannot take away. This drive that entrepreneurs have, right? And again, what I want to do is I just want to reflect what you're saying in your personal story back to the audience who knows who they are, but maybe let them know a little bit that maybe they've got some similar questions or similar struggles or similar ideas. How do I work a full-time job and be an entrepreneur? Or what if I've got 2 ideas brewing? Or are entrepreneurial business skills transferable? And I think that's also something that you're answering, is that when you're learning whatever entrepreneurial skills, whether it's, finances or pitching or organizational structure, whatever, can you transfer it from one idea to another, even from nonprofit to for-profit or small to large? And the answer is yes, you can. So by getting that education, whether through Yeti or anywhere else one might get that education, it's something you end up having for life, right? And you can transfer it. And that's a real important thing to have, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to add something. So in today's world, we have to remember, with AI and everything, people are afraid that they will not have a job. So the thing is that you must understand your field. I don't know anything about finance. Totally. I know about recruitment. Okay. So in my field, what I try to do is always to be at the top level of technology while searching for the best talent out there. Okay. That's where I am at. And that's how I'm trying to develop myself. If you are in manufacturing, if you are in finance, if you are, in real estate, doesn't matter. Always try to think and find the correct way for yourself, how to develop and grow, and try to be a businessman or entrepreneur, at least at the beginning, and then breaking this wall and moving forward. Right. Now, in terms of having this, I would say, dual business and working 9 to 5, if you ask me, I am biased. Of course it is welcomed, because you need to be 100% focused on whatever is doing good for you, because you live once, you only live once, right?
That's the rumor.
Yeah. So you need to take care of yourself. If you have a family, of course, on the mental side of things, I'm talking now, not about the money and stuff. Okay. So in order for that to happen, you need to fulfill yourself. Okay, you will not be able to fulfill yourself if you will not be doing daily what you like to do. Now, have I did daily for 10 years what I want to do? No, I worked for someone I enjoyed. I did very well. I was always top performer, but it's not, you cannot always do whatever you want for yourself and be 100% there. In order to get to this stage, you must work very hard, a lot of hours. And my wife, thank God she was very nice to me. And I literally used to call her, listen, I have to do this meeting, another meeting, I have a call here, a call there, I have to travel here, travel there. Yeah, my first two kids, I was involved in their education, I would say, but not as much. Nowadays, I have a bit more time. I'm a bit more involved with the third child.
Right.
Thank God for that, at least. But this is something that every entrepreneur should take under consideration when they begin the journey. One more thing about how I see this journey. It's a marathon. Imagine to yourself, for every person, let's say you go to university or college, you're ending that whenever you're 23, 24, doesn't matter. Marathon is 42 kilometers. You have 42 years, okay? Every year, you cannot do 100%. You have to start somewhere. So you begin the marathon a bit slower because you want to be very strong, closer to the end. So when you begin slower, it means you need to learn. You have more time to learn. That's what you should do. That's how you should invest your time. Many avenues, and then step by step, filter them, finding maybe one or two at the end that you give your push. And this push will be the strongest that you can.
In pitching, I always say start strong, finish strong. So it sounds like in some ways, entrepreneurship journey is the same. Start strong, finish strong.
Yes.
I want to go back a little bit to what you were saying. And again, this is also for the audience's benefit of looking at, like, entrepreneurship can sound really like lovely, and we can be rock stars and we can have all this great, traveling all over the world and all that stuff and being our own boss. It's all very exciting and sexy. At the same time, as you mentioned, rightfully so, there are sacrifices. There's mental health issues and there's sacrifices.
Yeah.
And your family, in your case, wife and kids, but for other people, maybe it's whoever they're living with, maybe
right.
it's they're taking care of someone or who knows what. There's a toll. There's a toll when you say, I've got to work late. I've got to travel. I can't be there for this event or that. And especially when kids are involved. So I think that's also important. So I guess this is an unfair question to ask, but because I don't think I know the answer myself. But okay. So what is it that makes an entrepreneur that they will deal with those sacrifices? Like how do they weigh that out and say the sacrifices are worth the entrepreneurial journey?
If you are by your own doing those things, and let's say you don't have any other obligations, I would say, I never tried that, but I would say it should be easier because you don't have to, I would say promise something to someone.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Again, never tried it. I respect someone who is on their own, and it's difficult for them. I understand. It's not
right.
that I'm underestimating them. I can tell you about myself. I had the best partner, my wife. She totally understood myself, my mindset, and what I'm interested in sacrificing in order for myself and my family enjoy life. Now, are we there? No, we are not. I'm here. I was maybe here, and I'm going all the way up this ladder. That's the way to do it, step by step. I don't know too many people that jumped that high and then didn't fall down, and all their plans are ruined. So you have to be very careful. You have to understand that you have to do things slowly but surely. And on top of that, knowing what you are going to do and where you are going to get at the end. Being very much resourceful in terms of your research, plan everything ahead, and all the consequences of each and every pathways. I created those, and that's how I knew what I should answer to this or that, whatever question or issue, or what happened here, or what will happen if I will fail here. Do I have any other solution? Do I have any other idea? What's my plan B? What's my plan C?
Right. Or D for that matter.
Yeah.
Your story and your wife who's offering all this support, it reminds me of, I was recently a co-author of a book. This is not a famous book. I'm not trying to plug it, but it's called The Pinnacle of Influence. It's put out by Global Gurus, and I was one of 10 or 12 people that wrote a chapter.
Okay.
And the idea was on thought leadership and entrepreneurship, kind of like what was your journey. So each person kind of put their bullet points, and I put my, whatever it was, 10 tips.
Yeah.
But one of the tips I put in my chapter was something to the effect of a kicking wife is a good wife. and obviously there's a story behind that. And the idea was a long time ago, even before my wife was my wife, there was a contract or two that came up in my journey as a communication coach with 3V Communications a long time ago. And I was second guessing whether I should take the contract or whether I should explore the contract because it was far away or it was out of my comfort zone. And my wife at the time was kind of really just kicking me, almost literally, like basically not giving me a choice. Like, don't even reconsider, don't even talk yourself out of it. You're going to say yes, you're going to figure it out later. You're going to do that, you're going to do this. And those early contracts were huge in not only developing my business, but also meeting key contacts like Murat, who I met through one of those contracts, who is the president of Yeti. So I have to go back and say, like, had I not had someone who sort of understood the life of an entrepreneur, the life of a small business person, you got to and that kind of give you that push. So sometimes you forget, or you might be a little bit, I'm not sure what to do. And that supportive family, whoever that might be, you need them to also be your rock and say like, look, let me help you and also let me guide you and maybe let me push you a bit too, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say my wife was a kicking wife.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I want to go home to sleep tonight at home.
Right.
But she was very supportive in terms of, she has not too much business understanding, but what she do have is the way to ask the right questions. And she used to ask me, as you say, like the devil's advocate. Right. What happens in this situation? Right. What would you do there? How did I create a plan B, C, and D?
Right.
Only because of her.
Right.
Only because she came to me and asked me, okay, in your scenario, everything is amazing. What happened if it's not happening?
Right.
What happening if this is canceled? Right. What happening if this client will not be your client anymore? You need to be ready. So that's how I developed. That's how I became a better version of myself.
Yeah.
So I believe that and again, in my case, it's my wife. It might be your father, your mother, your best friend, someone who you trust, your mentor. But I think that's a great thing to have someone who you can definitely discuss about all your thoughts.
Right.
Although some people, I would say, like to take decisions by themselves. And at the end of the day, I took the decision by myself.
Right.
But those guidelines were very much helpful for me.
No, I agree. I think that self-assessment's an important tool. And at the same time, we have to have that external voice or voices. As you said, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a mentor or advisor or neighbor or just someone that you trust. Maybe it's your accountant or lawyer, a neighbor or Uncle Tom that's just had a lot of experience with business. But somebody to ask you as you say, play devil's advocate, ask you, have you considered this? What about this? What will you do? To make you think. And at the end of the day, I also agree with you. The entrepreneur themselves has to make that decision. And I found that with Yeti, as an instructor at Yeti, I find that a lot of times the student will ask me a question about such and such, whatever it might be. And I end up saying things like, you're going to get a lot of opinions, especially at Yeti, because you've got all these teachers from all these different backgrounds. You've got this cohort of 15 to 25 classmates, plus whatever else you've got. You're going to get a lot of opinions. At the end of the day, what do you think? Like, I'll give you my opinion and everybody can give you their opinion, but that's part of entrepreneurship is you have to be responsible for making that final decision.
I remember, if we go back to Yeti's program, I remember one time we went on groups. It was like virtual groups on Zoom. And one of my colleagues there asked me a question. So why you do only Hebrew events? And I'm like, I don't know. What events should I do? Like, and he said, English? And I'm like, it's weird, but I didn't think about that, right? Because I wanted to be so focused. And someone comes to you and tells you something very obvious, and you kind of put it aside and you never thought about it. So then I decided that's right. Maybe I should do it. I actually developed a segment I did several English events, but then again, due to COVID and some other circumstances, we did not continue. But that's something that is highly important to understand.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's the other thing too, is you never know where the key piece of advice may come from. It may be just an offhanded comment. It might be something you picked up from a YouTuber, or it might be just that kind of innocent question that just makes you think deeper. And that's the life of an entrepreneur. Listen, this is a good time for us to segue a bit into the COVID hits.
Yeah.
The production companies having a challenge getting people in person because of all the rules and with COVID, et cetera. And you start to go back to this idea of recruiting, and then you want to blow it up a bit. You want to make it better, the recruiting.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about, I think, when you decided to officially create a company for recruiting, and what's the name of the company, and how'd you come up with the name?
Oh, okay.
All that.
So first of all, the name of the company is Telescope Recruitment. Why Telescope? So, when you are, I don't know how many times it happened to you, but when an employer is approaching you because they want to find someone good, they always want the best. So they always come to me and tell me, we want a star. We want a rock star. And when I began looking for a name, I first went to this path. As I mentioned, you need to understand who is your audience, ask them the right questions, and then you will be able to take the next step in your business.
Right.
So I first of all went and saw that, okay, if everyone is asking for a star, there's one way to find stars, Telescope.
Telescope.
Our slogan is reaching out for the stars. Telescope Recruitment, reaching out for the stars.
Nice.
That's about that. Now, what happened is that, again, as I mentioned, we had COVID. I had a lot of work. Many employers approached me. I understood the situation, that there is a market need for great talents. Employers cannot reach out to them. They are very limited. And I knew, how am I doing that? I had, just to give you the understanding, I had 9 years agency side recruitment, 4 years corporate side recruitment, and then basically launched Telescope. So now Telescope is already almost 2 years in business. And the way there was I was feeling very ready for that, because everything that I did before, okay, it's 15 years now, and that's actually connecting very well to what you said. In order to be here, I worked really hard.
Well, let me interrupt you for a second. I want to ask a question. As you know, we got about 5 minutes left or so.
Yeah.
And as you know, this is called the Startup Sandwich Podcast. We like to kind of connect the idea of building a sandwich to business, to entrepreneurship. And so the classic question we like to ask is about someone's secret sauce.
Okay.
And so secret sauce is innovation or uniqueness, unique selling point. So what is the secret sauce? What makes your company unique or interesting?
For every entrepreneur, I think nowadays, again, technology and the way you use it, this is the differentiator between you and your competitors. I'm always on top of that, whether listening to podcasts, meeting the people that needed. We'll take a flight just for 24 hours to do that even, and I did it a few times. Always building connections. And, every salesperson will try always to tailor the answer to whatever you want to hear. This is not the way I work. I will be open and honest with each and every employer about my skills, the salary that they are willing to pay, and what I will be able to provide them. If you'll go to any agency, a recruitment agency, until they will begin working on your job requisition, it might take them 2 to 3 weeks. I promise within 10 days, candidates in your inbox that went through our very thorough screening process.
I see.
Okay? That's a huge difference. Now, we are quick and we are to the point. We are not wasting your time. We want you to find this specific person that will be tailor-made to your team in order for this employee to stay long-term with you. An employee that leaves you, you lose money and you lose your trust with me.
For sure.
Right? Oh, you will not trust me anymore. So, and by the way, I had situations like that, and you need to know how to do the repair very quick. And, but this is, again, it's a different angle, and we always make sure that we will fulfill all those requests from our employers.
Right.
Okay.
And what is your target market? Like what, because recruiting can be different industries. Do you have a specific segment that you're targeting?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, we deal generally speaking with engineers. Okay. Now, have I done non-for-profit? Yeah, for sure. We will do that. I can do basically everything. Why? Because I learn it. I go very deep there, and it's not only myself. We are 4 employees at Telescope. So we have someone who is great with engineers, someone who understands very well the non-for-profit world, someone who knows the cybersecurity domain, and myself, I dealt with finance as well. So everyone has their own niche. However, what I like with my employees, to be jack of all trades. First of all, you're not limiting to yourself to some other, I would say, industries. And another thing about entrepreneur, at the end of the day, will need to manage the people that will work for them.
Right.
However, they must know at the beginning how to do the financial side of the business side, the admin side, right? Accounting, everything is there. So I always want to learn to do everything. I don't need to know 100% everything.
Right.
I need to get to a certain level. Then I decide, okay, now I can bring someone who will be able to do the job because they are specializing in that. For example, bookkeeping.
Right.
For example, recruitment of IT, cybersecurity professionals.
Right.
So to answer your question, we deal with engineers, okay? So it might be robotics, software engineers, cybersecurity engineers, manufacturing, industrial, you name it. Basically everything, okay? Non-for-profits, hiring from, I would say management level all the way through C-level, as well as, of course, in the engineering. We hire top level as well.
Okay, so let me ask you, as you look, we're wrapping this up, and as you look towards the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, et cetera, what's in store for your company? Are there going to be changes? Is there going to be growth? Do you have anything that's coming up that's new and exciting for you?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I'll tell you, first of all, it's not only depending on me, it depends on the market.
Right.
As far as I see, the labor market within the US and Canada, moving slowly but surely to a good point. But it might take a bit more time than what people think. A mindset of a business owner is always to grow. Sometimes you need to take a step back, look outside of your business and say, okay, is this the real time? Is this the best time to grow? Maybe we should not grow for, let's say, for the upcoming 6 months, okay? I really want to grow. And if I'll get tomorrow 50 new employers that want me to find them 100 more people, I'll need to grow. I hope to be there one day. My goal is to have a large agency with definitely many recruiters that work by my way, and of course bringing their own, I would say, secret sauces. But I will definitely guide them to work, I would say, sidewise with what I see.
Right.
I really hope it will happen. Now, let's talk about something very important. We touched it a bit, the AI and what it does to the market, okay? As a company that is using AI and relying on that, first we rely on our brain. The AI, and I explained it to my kids even, is our support. It's not instead of us. If it can replace us in some of the positions, it might replace. However, if you are a software engineer and you know how to use AI for your benefit, it will not replace you. It will help you. Right. If you're a marketing person, you will need to know how to use AI in order to help you to be faster, to create clips, or to be a social media influencer. All of those professions that were not existing 50 years ago are now there. And I am 100% sure that the AI will bring new professions like AI consultants. Right? So I think that this will be the key for each and every one in order to understand how they can grow and where they can take their career.
This is a good opportunity for me to bookend this conversation, because I would say that, as we talked about with entrepreneurship, that you have to see change as an opportunity and not as a threat. I think the same can be said for AI and a lot of that, for whatever industry someone's in, entrepreneurship or other. You see it as an opportunity, or at least use it as an opportunity. Don't see it as a threat. Don't run away from it. Ask yourself, how can I use this to make my business or my life even better and easier, right? Eitan, it's a pleasure talking to you. Where can people find you if they want to reach out and ask you more about you or your or Telescope Recruitment?
First of all, it was very, very nice meeting with you here. Long time. If anyone want to basically meet with me, I am on LinkedIn. And we have a website, telescope-recruitment.com, or my email, which I guess will be on the screen. I'm very happy to answer each and every question. I'm trying. I have hundreds of messages daily on LinkedIn, but I'm trying to get back to each and every person personally.
Very good. That's great. Thank you so much for joining us on the Startup Sandwich podcast. You've given a lot of great information for our listeners, and I appreciate the information as well. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you check out your podcasts. Until next time, keep turning small bites into big wins.